Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus episode 151. I'm your host as always. I am Dan. I'm joined by my co-host as always. It is Samson, who you're wearing the same t-shirt that's on our podcast cover. On the podcast. So welcome. How you doing? How's your week been?
Just thought I'd fit in. You know, people see the thumbnail and then they're like, "Oh, this makes sense. He's still wearing that."
Always wearing the same.
I've been good, Dan. Weather was nice enough to get some mixed reality play outside and room scaled stuff outside. So, you know,
we'll talk about that in part
later
2.
on. Yeah. Are you all geared up to move?
Geared up to the move to Toronto next week. So I didn't get any VR playing myself this week, unfortunately. Also, I think we've had such a tight turnaround from our last podcast, but geared to move, which actually is a perfect kind of segue to next week's podcast. Assume next week's podcast is not happening. We might have something in the works to do something for next week, but if there's a missing episode next week, if it's not out on the Thursday, that is why. That is why. It's because of that. I also wanted to announce that since I'm moving across country, as some of you know, the podcast is normally out on Thursdays for everybody listening. We're going to move it to Fridays after this show, obviously. So from September, all of the shows are going to be out on Friday. For Patreons, you'll still get it on Thursday, so you'll still get a day early. But I just need extra time to edit the pod due to our time zones. Normally being on the Pacific and Samson being on the Eastern time zone makes it easier for me to edit the pod after we do it, even if we do it late. But now, I need that extra day. So podcasts will be available every single Friday, or if you want it that day earlier, come join us on Patreon. The link's in the description below, and at the $5 tier, that's where you'll get the early access, and you'll get, even if you're at the $1 tier, you'll be able to join the Discord's Patreon channel. But the Discord is also free, Samson, and the link's in the description below. So Samson, if you've not joined before, go join that Discord.
Yeah, it is free. It is free.
Yeah.
We're going to throw off a lot of commutes. People are going to be like, whoa, this is normally my Thursday commute. Listen, now it's Friday. What? But they'll get used to it.
Yeah.
They'll get used to it.
If you really care that much and you also like us enough to support us, then $5 and you'll still get it on Thursday. But yeah, so yeah, join us on the Discord. The Discord's been popping off. We've got some games. People are playing Among Us recently. I know Grocket's been a hot thing that we've been playing. Well, obviously Walkabout. Sam, so you posted something
I've been playing
Racket Club too, as well, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to play a Racket Club game. But I've been playing Synthriders Wednesday mornings, the Pro Stud, 9 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. So
we can get like 10 people in that room.
Yeah, so a lot of things happening. So join us on the Discord. But without further ado, let's get into our show for today. So today, a bit of a different show. Pretty much no VR news to talk about. It has been Gamescom. A bunch of content creators have gone to Gamescom. I've got like hands on all of the new titles, or most of the new titles that are coming out this fall. But nothing's come from it. I feel like that's all embargoed until probably the week that you're listening to this podcast, actually. But we come up with a little fun topic to do. And since last week, we talked about the VR game showcase and we went through those games and what we kind of enjoyed from that showcase. I thought maybe today we can actually have a top 5 anticipated list. So these are going to be our most anticipated VR titles for the rest of the year. So 2024. We both have
rest of the year. Because you gave me the fall, Dan. You gave me the fall. Well, I cut out December.
Why did you?
It made it easier for me.
Isn't the fall December?
You said
as well?
Fall.
Isn't
that's a winner, Dan? That's a winner.
Gosh. I don't understand the US language when it comes to these things, to be honest. But I just sort of assume fall is the rest of the year. But alas, it looks you weren't looking forward to Alien anyway because it's not your jam.
Dan, there's 4 seasons every year.
Just thought fall assumed everything after summer. I don't know. Anywho, we both got 5 games each. In fact, mine are all for the fall, to be fair. We'll go back and forth, and what we're going to do is, instead of just going, okay, yeah, this is this is what I'm anticipating, this is what I'm anticipating, I came up with some questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to have like a general, like why is that your anticipated game? So look at, a little small spiel. But also I've said, what are you most looking forward to? What are you hoping that the game has? Like, is it a mechanic that you've not heard of before, or is it a specific song or so, if it's a rhythm game? And then what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? So, is it the bugginess? Is it a specific style that you're not too sure about? Okay, so they're going to be our questions as we go through these games. So, Samson, I'm going to throw it to you first. Are you going to do it on an order in a top, or is it just your top 5 no order for you, Samson?
I've got no order here.
Okay. Let's just go no order, but we'll just do our top 5 in no particular order. Samson, you start off here. What is one of the games that you're hotly anticipating for the rest of the fall 2024?
Yes, for fall 2024. Dan, one of the top ones on my list, we talked about it last week. I'll give you a hint. It is Trombone Champ. Wait, that's a trumpet. There we go. That's trombone.
Yes. Same sound, different action.
Yeah, different action. Yeah, precisely. And generally, why, you might ask yourself, am I looking forward to Trombone Champ?
Why?
I love rhythm games,
and
I played the flat one. It's a good time. It's a goofy ass game, Dan, and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't spent hordes of time in the flat version, mostly because honestly, clicking the mouse wasn't as fun as I think it will be as playing a trombone in VR will be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just excited for this one because it's a rhythm game and it looks goofy as all hell.
Have you ever played with a controller with this game, or is it always a mouse and kind of move it up and down and such?
No, it's just a mouse. It's a mouse game.
Yeah. So having the actual motion is going to be.
I don't even know if you could do it with a controller.
Maybe with the sticks, maybe with the left stick or something like that. No, I've not played the game. I've not played trombone, so yeah. So obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. Fair enough. So what are you most looking forward to?
Playing bizarre songs on the trumpet. Good old American tunes. Maybe "Oh Canada." Some old classical songs. Hopefully, "Oh Susanna." That's a good one. All the classics, Dan.
Do they in that?
I don't need to list anymore. Everybody knows them.
The songs for the trombone, are they just made up songs, or are they is there a song creator in terms of you could just go a free play and just doesn't matter what song, you can just make whatever you want?
Yeah, there was a free play as well.
Yeah.
But there's mostly real songs. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I wasn't sure if it was more just specific random trombone songs. They're not licensed. It's just something that they've kind of.
It's got Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. It's got Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got God Save the King. Oh Canada. Skip to My Lou.
Right.
Star Spangled Banner. Stars and Stripes Forever. Ska Bird. I don't know that one, but it sounds kind of fun.
Yep.
And Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Those are amongst many others, but those are ones maybe people know.
They really are the goofy songs. You were right when you said that, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I love that. Love that tune on the baseball seventh inning stretch. But so, what are you hoping that this game has? Because obviously you played this game in flat screen, so you already know what it already has. But what are you hoping if there's anything else that they've not shown off yet?
I'm not really sure what to hope for other than a lot of songs. Maybe a song creator, and then I hope for many people who are very creative out there to create songs for it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So you can download them and such from the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And then what are you afraid of, Samson? What are you afraid of?
Spiders. No. Not really anything. Not really anything, Dan. Maybe like quality controls, but there's not much to be.
Mm.
It would have to go really awry, I feel, for me to be disappointed in this. I'm not. I'm not too afraid of anything here.
Would there be a price?
Overpriced? I
Yeah,
don't
I was
know.
about to say, is there a price that you're like, oh, is it too expensive?
I imagine this will be $24.99 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair price for it. Very well, very well. So what's it called? Trombone Champ? That's the game?
That is the game.
Trombone
That's
Champ.
its name.
Okay, do you know when it's coming out? If that's in October or
It doesn't
September?
have a
It
date.
doesn't have a
It
date.
is literally fall, or it might be just 2024. Honestly, I might have slipped this one in.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know,
Okay, my pick number one is the Metal Hellslinger VR. Sorry, Hellslinger. I wrote it wrong in my script.
Dan, have you
Gone.
played this one yet?
No,
Because the demo's
there's
out.
no
Okay,
there's no demo
the
on
demo's only on
Quest.
Steam.
Yeah, there's no
Gotcha.
demo on Quest. This is out on September 26th, and genuinely the reason why is because this game looks stupid fun. When this show was shown off, I think it was shown off in the Upload VR Summer Showcase. It just looks like stupid fun. It felt like Doom in VR, but then it has metal music, and I'm not the biggest metal fan, but it's definitely I can get into it at times. There's a certain artist and such that I do really enjoy, and it's like a guilty pleasure of mine that comes out
You don't
a
have
few
to feel
times.
guilty about it. Metal's good.
That's fair. So I do like to dabble in time to time, and I'm really intrigued to see how it fits in with the mechanics, because like I said, it looks more like a Doom like game. So what I'm most looking forward to is definitely the soundtrack. Obviously, it being a rhythm game, but the reason why it's not just I'm just waiting for those songs. It's more that the licenses that they've got. I don't see a track list right now unless I missed this when I was doing the research, but you have like a lot of heavy hitters in terms of artists that they're working with. Case in point, one of the artists is from System of a Down, and I like a bunch of their songs, for example. And also, I love metal music when it comes to fitness. It's obviously with the guitars and drums blazing, like it's a great workout tracks. But playing a VR game like Supernatural, like a fitness game like that, which is obviously only available in North America. I really enjoy the metal songs the most. I think metal. It's funny. I think metal and classical are the two genres that I like the most while I was doing the workouts, which seem polar opposite genres.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that genre doing fitness. So this being more of a rhythm game, I wonder like how it's going to tie in with fitness. But I'm really looking forward to the soundtrack more than anything. I'm hoping that the gameplay looks fast, but I'm hoping it's like smooth, and they've done some tricks to kind of help with the motion sickness. I feel like this one might be quite moderate in terms of intensity, maybe like full on intense. I'm not too sure yet, but it seems very fast paced. And obviously, for those of you with PC VR setups, they can obviously try this and see what it's like. But I hope they've done some clever tricks to kind of reduce the motion sickness.
Dan, I'm not gonna lie, Dan. It felt slower than I expected.
Really? Yeah, I was about to ask you now. Actually, like you've played the demo. How did you find it?
Only about 15 minutes. So I haven't played through a lot of it.
Right.
How did I feel about it? I don't think it's a rhythm game for me.
No. Well, but why so?
That's how I felt about it.
Is it a bit too hardcore when it comes to what it's
No, it was more just like I didn't like the combo of having to get to people and swing and hit them to the beat. I like those things separate. And it's interesting because I've played about an hour of Hi-Fi Rush this week, which is essentially that, but you're not swinging, right? You're just pressing a button
right
to the beat. And honestly, I feel like it's pretty. It gives you a lot of leeway,
Got it.
or I felt like it was giving me leeway. Whereas I had trouble. I had trouble swinging and hitting these people on the beat. I struggled with this one, and maybe I just need to give it more time or whatever. I could spend more time in the demo, but yeah, I think when I like my rhythm games, I just want to be hitting the beat more simply. I don't know.
Is it like Pistol Whip where if you do it on the beat you get more points, or is it more like if you don't do it on the beat you get kind of penalized for it?
No, I think it's a points thing.
It's more of a points thing. Yeah, fair enough. I was wondering if if you don't match it on the beat, then you get hit or something. Like it's that kind of precise. But I guess maybe you need to play it more. So
I guess I just felt like it was lacking. Right, so it's trying to be like a combat game and a rhythm game, and I feel like it kind of does both of those not that well.
Right. A combat and everything.
Like,
yeah.
It's trying to do. It's almost spreading itself too thin, type of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, yeah, it's a shame that there's no demo on Quest. I wonder if they do put something out closer to release. Release is obviously September 26th, but this is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that I'll get bored of it too quickly, and that the novelty will just kind of wear off. And it is quite expensive for VR standards. Like it's around $35 US, which is
for all those songs.
It's all for that's what I was gonna say. Like it makes sense for that price because of all those licenses, but I hope the like gameplay and the actual game aspect is worth the $35 rather than this is $35. This is like a $20 game, but because of the licenses, we have to charge more, which makes sense. But I'm just hoping that the gameplay lives up to that price tag more than anything, because $35 is like your maybe second tier of like prices. Your tier one, which will be like Arizona Sunshine, which is in the 40s, or Walking Dead or so. But this will be like your tier two of pricing. And yeah, that's what I'm worried about, that it's something that just doesn't live up to that tier of pricing.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest metal fan. I listen here and there sparingly, but I will not be buying that one.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anyway, that's my first pick of the Metal Hellsinger VR. Samson, back to you.
Here's a little bit of a curveball, Dan, because I am not really a fan of this IP at all.
But you're late. Okay, go on.
But here I am. Mobile Suit Gundam Silver Phantom.
I did not expect you to say that, to be honest. I didn't know if you so you don't collect Gundam figures, you don't do all that stuff, you don't watch the anime, I'm assuming.
Never seen it. Nope. I might now, because once I finish the first season of Attack on Titan, which I did some progress on this week. I'm almost there.
Nice.
But why?
Yeah, why?
Why, Sam?
Why?
It's a freaking VR movie, Dan, and I want more VR movies. And I'm all about a good VR movie, being immersed in that. I'll watch Gundam in VR. Hell yeah. So that's my general why.
Yeah.
Is because it's a freaking movie and it looks cool as all hell. And I love a good VR movie.
That's fair enough.
It looks high production value too.
It does. So what are you looking forward to as you take a drink?
Just watching the movie. It does look like so at the end of the trailer, it does look like it has a sort of GT7 type of thing where you can examine the Gundam like up close, like you can examine the cars
like a
in
showreel
GT7
kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's an MR game of sorts. Kind of looks like Yuki in a way, where you're holding the action figure and moving it around your room, shooting things.
I see.
But mostly, I'm just looking forward to watching the movie, and if it's something that I can put people who actually are fans of Gundam, or not really, if this is a thing that I can show VR off with, chef's kiss, Dan. Chef's kiss. That's all I need.
That's fair. And it's on Quest native, so it's something that you can show off without needing the PC, like a few of the movies that you've seen recently, for example. So
Precisely. Dan, I'm going to skip what I'm hoping it has because I'm hoping it has a good movie.
everything's like, I'm looking forward to watching the movie. I hope it's a good movie.
Like, what else could it have? Like that. It's got an MR game. I know that. I'm not sure what more I could hope for. Subtitles. I hope it has subtitles.
Yeah, fair enough.
I hope I can watch it in a native language. I'm not sure if it's Japanese or not, but I do prefer that. I prefer subtitles.
I agree. So are you a subtitles on English kind of guy too, or?
Generally, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very anti subtitles on English, but when it comes to any other language, I prefer to watch it in its native language rather than dubbed.
Certainly, if I'm watching something with your English, I'm putting subtitles on.
That's very fair. That's very fair. Yeah, that's very fair. I think. So I mean, the when it comes to anime, sometimes I watch it dubbed if I was going to watch any. But I think because that's obviously being an anime, being dubbed, it doesn't really matter too much. But like, I mean, Pokemon's dubbed, for example. But it doesn't really matter. I think it's when it's like a real like live action kind of thing and it's dubbed. It throws me off that it's like they're
Oh yeah, the
it's
voices.
not in
Oh yeah,
sync. Yeah, it throws me off.
there's no way I'm watching a Bruce Lee film in English.
No, absolutely. So what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of that the movie will be bad? Is that what you're gonna say?
No, Dan, I've actually got a legit fear here.
Okay,
I don't really care if the movie is good or bad.
fair enough.
Yeah, I'm worried it doesn't sell well and we never get another VR movie again.
Or in that kind of vein and such. It depends on
Yeah,
its,
yeah. I hope it sells well enough that they do it again. There's
yeah,
another.
series and
There's
such.
more.
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say you're gonna be afraid of getting so
I
much
guess
into it, so you'll buy some like Gundam
Gundam.
figures and then get into that,
No.
and then that's a lot of money.
I guess that's something I hope for, though. I hope it's successful and that it gets a sequel or there's another IP VR movie in this vein.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Do you know when that's gonna come out?
Oh, I don't think it has a
I
release
don't think
date
this
yet,
one has
does
a
it?
release date either. I don't think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, fair enough. Whilst you're digging that up,
No
yeah,
release date. It's just pre-ordered and it says autumn 2024.
very well.
Mine's pre-ordered, not you're listening,
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah. Okay, so my second pick is Another Door Escape Room. So this comes out in October 2024, and the reason why is that I've just been doing a lot of escape rooms recently. I just did another one this week. It was called the Matrix Escape Room. It had 14% success rate, and we did it with 3 minutes to spare, which was really good.
Wow.
So now I'm in the escape room because that's the second one I've done in the last 3 weeks. So
Were you getting carried or were you carrying the team?
no, to be fair, I know this is a very like, oh, of course, but all six of us were pulling our weight. All six of us were doing our own, doing well. So no one was pulling anyone, and no one was carrying anyone.
No one didn't solve one puzzle.
No, everyone had at least one puzzle that they contributed the most to, shall we say, or figured out something. So yeah,
Nice.
nice. But yeah, because sometimes in escape rooms, you'll have a team of six and only two of you are really like knowing what to do and such. But no, we had a good team. But anyway, generally why? Because of that, because I kind of, it'd be cool to do escape rooms for free, in a way, after paying for the game, rather than having to spend money on doing them. But also just to practice, because when I did my first escape room earlier this month, I was really nervous going into it because I was like, I feel like with an escape room, you have to be in a certain mindset to do it, because you need to be quite open-minded and you need to be looking for certain cues and such, right? So there's and I was like, I wish I could get some like practice. I was like, do I get a Nintendo DS and start getting brain training again and doing some of those puzzles? It's like, what do I do to kind of practice? So this might be cool to kind of get the brain ticking in escape room-esque. That's
There are some currently out. I played a at least one or two of them.
I have not
I
looked
forget.
into any of these, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
decent.
yeah.
The one I played.
So that's what I'm most looking forward to, is just like kind of practicing with the escape rooms, getting my brain tingling in these puzzles itself. And what I'm hoping for is, I'm hoping that it's going to be a practice mode and it has a few different escape rooms. The thing with escape rooms is that obviously once you've done them, you've done them, right? You can't really do them again. Unless I'm not read too much into this game, so like if it was like maybe procedurally generated, so it's a little bit different. The puzzles are a little bit different, but still, like how much replayability can you have? So, like, is it? So I think the key thing for this is that they need to have, hopefully it does well, but they need to be pumping out more content for more escape rooms, kind of like in a way like Demio gives like another map, and how they've done it and such.
The escape room game I was thinking about is called Rooms of Realities.
Rooms of Realities. I'm also hoping that it's not too scary. It is labeled as like a horror puzzle game.
Spiders.
I just don't want why I don't need it to be like horror. It does say horror, so I'm hoping that it's more. It doesn't have too much jump scares, but it's more like, because you're in like a psychological a little bit, right? I don't want to be looking right and then there's a massive spider that I have to, or there's like a spider on the wall and I have to do the spider puzzle. It's like, just F off, I don't want to do that. Just let me play a normal escape room. So that's what I'm hoping for. And what I'm afraid of, I'm afraid that it's going to be too difficult for solo play. Like it does allow solo and co-op. So I'm afraid that if I do go in myself, it's going to be too difficult. And then also, I'm afraid that no one else is interested in the multiplayer. Like this, the game doesn't take off. That's the thing, right? You know that well, right? When it comes to multiplayer games, if no one else buys it, then you always. And I don't know if you can just play this with any random person online, but with escape rooms, you don't really want to do that. You want to play it with someone who you know and such, because it's more fun that way.
You're gonna have to get your partner Quest 3S.
Yeah, just to do the escape rooms. Potentially, you never know. Potentially, it will just be used for escape rooms and walkabout,
pool,
miracle pool, all of that jazz. Or I mean, I'm on the East Coast, so I'll just fly over to your house, Samson, and we can do some. Or I just do it over online because we don't need to.
I could use a IRL person, because not to give away later on, but I got into roomscale VR that would have been a lot better with
someone else. Yeah. So that's Another Door escape room that comes out sometime in October. I say it's anticipated, but like all of these anticipated games doesn't mean that it's going to be the day one purchase. I just kind of like the first one, the mental health thing. I didn't wait for reviews and maybe get that on the sale potentially. But Another Door escape room, once again, depends on the reviews for this one. It's not going to be like a pre-order and anything like that. But yeah, Samson, what do you got for your third pick?
Third pick, Dan. We haven't spoken about this one because it's not coming to the Quest, but it is a VR game, and it is a VR game I'm pretty excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Hesitantly pretty excited about it, called Arcanage. And generally, I mean, have you seen the trailer?
No.
It looks like the classic third person action adventure game.
Yeah.
And there's lots of enemies, lots of cool environments, lots of greenery. It just looked like a cool ass game. There's combat, there's puzzles to be solved. It's just, a trailer I've seen. I don't know that much about it, but it looks cool as all hell from this trailer. You should definitely
I'll have to check the trailer
go check out the trailer or put the trailer on over all of this talking, because it's cool. It looks cool. It looks classic. And it looks big, right? Like there's a reason this isn't coming to the Quest. It graphically looks pretty impressive. I hope it takes advantage of all the things PlayStation VR has to offer.
Yeah.
What am I most looking forward to, though? Really just exploring and being in this incredibly vibrant, beautiful world. That's what I'm most looking forward to. Some people would probably say gameplay, puzzles, combat. No, classics. No. I just want to be there. I just want to look around, feel like I'm there, and enjoy the hell out of that, which is why I don't have much in the case of Afraid of, but I'm getting ahead of myself because what's next is what I'm hoping for. I am hoping that the combat feels good because that is pretty important, and it can ruin a type of the game like this if it's really bad. And I'm hoping movement feels good and that I can move around cool and fast and in unique ways.
Yeah. That's
what am I afraid of?
What are you afraid of?
Well, combat, Dan. I don't want it to stink. And the UI. A bad UI sucks.
Yeah.
A good UI, you don't notice. I hope I don't notice the UI.
Do you reckon because this game is it being sci-fi adventure and it being like it's more of like the what it looks like, right, in terms of the vibrant worlds and such, and it kind of gives me probably nothing like this, but No Man's Sky kind of esque, where it looks beautiful and it's sci-fi. I guess that's probably the only two that relate, but you know what I mean? Like, do you reckon that potentially there might be no UI whatsoever in terms of how it is?
Well, I imagine, you know how Hubris, you had something on your wrist type of deal to bring something up. Like, I imagine there'll be some sort of thing like that. As we've never spoken about it, though, let me read the little Steam bio.
Yeah, tell me a bit more about it.
Arcan Age is a VR action-adventure game set in the Biocosm, a terraformed fantasy world created by the Grand Arborist. Engage in full physics combat using Arcanite-infused swords and guns, and freely explore the densely filled environments under siege by Hyperion's neural corruption.
I still don't know much about the game from that, but I'll have to watch the trailer. So nice little PC VR or PlayStation VR as well, right? Pick.
It is coming to Steam as well, but I'll be getting that one probably on the PlayStation.
Yeah, with those HDR graphics and such. Did you ever order the PlayStation 2 VR 2 adapter?
Yeah, dude, I broke it out last week. I think I spoke about it on this. I don't know. I don't
remember you speaking about it.
I didn't play a lot, but I got it to work and all that. It's annoying because every time I want to go then use my PlayStation, I have to resync the controllers. And since I use the magnetic chargers, I have to like take out that magnetic charger, then plug it in on each one. It sounds like very first world problem.
It sounds like too much friction.
It is enough friction for me to be like, I'll just use my Quest when I use my unless I want to go into something where I do want the OLED. Like if I'm going to watch a movie like big screen, like then it's worth it. Then I'm going in for an hour plus to do something like that. So I do see myself using it, but not as my daily driver.
See, that's things like that is what makes me think that PlayStation VR 2 PC adapter was more of an afterthought. Because if it wasn't an afterthought and they kind of baked it in, then maybe the controllers would have the feature to just switch between two kind of modes, like a lot of controllers do now. Like obviously, like the standard Xbox controller, the standard PlayStation controller, and such, that you can't really do that. But you're buying third-party controllers. There's always now, well, not always, but most of the time, there are ways to just switch between two without you needing to resync it. I see a lot of 8-bit DO controllers that do stuff like that, for example. Even like my keyboard and mouse does that. It has like 3 modes and such. So if the PC was always on the timeline of the PlayStation VR, you would think they would have done something like this. But with that friction involved, it just feels like it was just one of those things that PlayStation VR 2 is not doing probably as well as they hope it's doing. So they're like, you know what, let's do what people are asking and kind of make this PC adapter and kind of go from there. But, you know, I mean, if that friction's okay, then obviously this is only a problem if you have the charging dock, right? If you don't have the charging dock, then you don't have that.
Yeah, it's not that big of an issue then,
Yeah, very well.
It's still something you got to do, though.
It's still something I do. Okay, my third pick is going to be Action Hero. Action Hero we spoke about last week on the VR games showcase breakdown, but the reason why Action Hero, there's no release date for this as far as I'm aware. It's just 2024. But this game is not your classic VR shooter. It looks like wacky VR fun, which I'm all for. I love me some wacky VR games because it reminds me of like playing some motion control games on the Wii, and they are
I
super fun.
almost hopped into What the Bat.
You almost did, but no.
I stared at it for a little bit, and then I did UEVR instead.
So that's what I'm most looking forward to. I'm most looking forward to reliving some of these like Hollywood moments in VR. I think they're going to be
It does look cool.
close to some like iconic like movie moments without being copyrighted and such.
And that one's a super hot movement, if I'm not mistaken. So they only move when you move.
Things go in like slow motion until you kind of do the action or so, and then it speeds up to normal time and such. So it's like that super hot isk. It's like on the same vein, but it's not exactly. But I feel like this is going to be like a what the bat kind of feeling of like there's going to be a series of missions, i.e. Hollywood productions or stunt productions or whatever, and you just go through them one by one and such. And there's probably going to be might be like a leaderboard in terms of how well you did and such. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of levels because now that this game could be like a 2-hour experience, and that's totally fine. But I hope there's a lot of levels rather than just being like maybe 5 levels or so, or and then that's pretty much it. So then it ends up being maybe a 40-minute experience. Like What the Bat has like 100 levels. I'm not expecting that many. Also, some of those levels,
40 minutes.
yeah, and some of those levels for What the Bat are like really short and such. I'm not expecting that, but I'm expecting like a wide variety. Maybe it just has like 5 or 6 like actual movie sets, but in there being like a few different options that you do. So there is a bit more playtime involved.
Imagine like a horror movie where you got to kill the ghosts or something too. This is a good amount of
good amount of
opportunity
content
to expand, I think.
Yeah. And I hope like it does well so it can have some DLC and such. But what I'm really afraid of is that sometimes gimmicky games can be really frustrating. What the Bat is something that has never really been really frustrating. Maybe the one level and that's it, but it's been pretty good. But sometimes they can be like frustrating. Maybe the mechanics don't work that well or something like that, so it gets annoying to play. And I just hope that this one isn't. To be honest, so that's the one thing I'm afraid of. And then Samson, was this the game that you went into the Discord for and asked about the camera?
No, the dev was just in the Rough Talk Discord because they hung out at Gamescom, and I inquired about if you'd be able to watch a trailer for the movie you're recording or like a clip
Just
of it.
Watch it back.
And he didn't say get the hell out of here. But he didn't say it'll be in it. He did say they have thought about the idea. So it could come, potentially down the road.
Maybe if it will be good.
I thought of it because I used to play this game for PlayStation 2 called Stuntman. And in it you were a driver who was a stuntman, and then after you did the level, you could watch a trailer for the movie you just did and see
the stunts.
Yourself in the replays. Yeah.
That's fun. That's really fun. That'd be cool if it had that. I think that'd be a big feature. Maybe that would then make it on your anticipated list if it has something like that. But yeah, that's Action Hero. Coming out sometime in 2024. Some people did demo it in Gamescom, so I think actually Road to VR has a article about that Gamescom showing. So definitely have a read of that, and I'm sure by the time this podcast is up, a lot of creators have probably posted something about it. But that's Action Hero. Samson, what is your 4th pick?
Behemoth. It's nice. Behemoth, Dan. Skydance's Behemoth, if you want to say the full name.
Yeah.
In general, why? Because they made Saints and Sinners, and the combat felt good, but you had to kill zombies, and now you don't have to deal with freaking zombies. So count me in.
Nice.
The combat looks great. but there's also colossuses, if you will, and those things look huge. You get to take down big things and fight little guys in really beautiful, crazy looking environments. They finally showed us some not wintry ones too, so there's going to be some environments that aren't in the snow. Altogether, Behemoth looks grand. Lots of blood too. Lots of blood if you're into that.
Yeah, are you gonna get this on the PlayStation VR or?
Likely.
Yeah, likely, because I think it's gonna look beautiful on there. I think I would too. As it was I had the PSVR 2 already, but fair enough. What are you hoping that it has?
Whoa, let's not get ahead of myself, because what am I most looking forward to?
Yeah.
Listeners, and if you listen to my last one, you're going to realize it's pretty similar. I'm just excited to be in this really cool looking world, hear the wind blowing by, feel chilly. I want to be out. I want to go outside, and I want to be in the snow in the game, in the snow in real life, and just be there.
Proper
be
immersed.
Freezing in real life. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what it's like to take down one of those colossuses.
Yeah, I mean, if you play on the PSVR, then you're not going to be able to get outside. So maybe you'll have to play on the Quest.
Don't tell me where I can take my PlayStation VR.
You just plug in your PlayStation right against the front door, and then that cable stretches out to your driveway, and it's just snow everywhere.
Yeah, I could easily play my PlayStation VR.
It's a pretty long cable, to be fair, and you can get an extension if you wanted to. But yeah,
maybe I'll have to get it on Quest too. Then.
Yeah, or Steam if you wanted the visuals and just beam it off from Quest and such. But yeah, fair enough. What are you most hoping? Oh, most hoping. What are you hoping? Sorry, that it has.
I'm hoping that it has not a lot of crafting.
Yeah, you hate crafting, don't you? You hate that kind of.
I don't want to be having to look for things and to make things. Hubris did crafting okay, right? I could deal with that, but I don't want to be overwhelmed with collecting things.
It's funny you say that, because in Walking Dead, their crafting's a little bit interesting, because you can collect a lot of things. There's a lot of items to collect to put in your backpack, and then you can use it for a variety of things. But then what they do really well in Walking Dead is that where your hub is, they have like a wall. They have two walls actually, or two pinup boards. One has like weapons, so like melee weapons and firearms.
And they get the lists, right, of stuff you need.
Exactly, it's like post-it notes or whatnot. And then on the left of that, you've got another wall which has different what do they have? They have stuff to do with like stamina and such and whatnot, and inventory and such. So you can like build out that if you want to, rather than just getting weapons on weapons or weapons. Was that okay with that? Was that crafting fine?
I didn't play. I didn't play long enough.
Okay, fair enough.
To find out,
because I think that crafting is very minimal. It's not like super in depth like Into the Radius, I believe.
I'll say this so even just seeing all those things right off the bat, I was intimidated. I was like, "Whoa, that's a lot."
Yeah, it's a lot, but the thing is, it's just you don't have to craft anything. It's just that you if you have the resources, oh great, I want to get Lucille, which is a baseball bat with barbed wire all over it. So I can pick up that or something like that. So it's not like the things when you're like foraging items in The Walking Dead, it's very straightforward, because you just everything you have, you're like, I'll just pick it up because I might use it, because it might be really handy. But they're really easy to come by, right? Where and then you just go to the wall and you go, I have enough for this, I'll just buy this, and then you can have it. It's kind of like works in like a currency. You're never really looking for things. You come across it, you pick it up. If not, you get a different weapon and such. So I'm wondering if that will be okay, because I'm thinking that it will definitely have that, to be honest. I think it'll be very similar.
It'll have that backpack.
Yeah, fair enough. So
what am I afraid of, them?
Yeah, what are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of jank, and not the fun VR jank. I mean bad jank. Bad jank with combat, or putting weapons away, getting weapons out. This type of deal, get weapons stuck in things,
right?
And all that jazz. That's what I'm most afraid of. But it looks pretty polished from all these trailers I've been seeing, and it keeps getting delayed.
Yeah.
So in a
It
good
might be
way.
a good way. And also, if they're anything like The Walking Dead, I mean, The Walking Dead 2, I think, had a lot of issues on launch. And I think that might be why, because it's getting delayed because of they don't want the same thing happen again. Because if the launch it doesn't go well, it kind of can kill a game sometimes, to be honest. But I think they don't want that. So, yeah, I'd be confident. I'd be confident. Behemoth is one of your most anticipated games, not one of mine, Samson.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're crazy. You're a crazy guy.
It's not that in fact
Especially because you love the Saint
I
Sinners
did,
games.
yeah.
I feel like you're into these types of games.
Yeah, I think the actual just the premise of the game doesn't appeal to me as much as the Walking Dead one did, to be honest. I'm intrigued by it for sure. Is it something that I'm going to pick up this year? Probably, like very likely as well. But am I looking? Am I just like looking at all the trailers, getting hyped of it? No. But a game that I am, Samson, is my fourth pick, and that is Maestro. Maestro comes out on October 17th. And why? We've spoken about this game a lot already. The demo is so much fun. The demo is so much fun.
It's
It's
a
a
good one.
unique rhythm game, something I've never really seen done. A lot of people have like drum games, guitar games, all these other stuff, just like fitness rhythm games. Maestro, you're a conductor. You're a conductor. Yeah, a little maestro, and what I'm most looking forward to is like learning the different actions. Because in the demo, you already see that you can point, you can raise like the pitch, you can lower it.
Crescendo
Crescendo, yeah,
and
that's
the opposite of crescendo.
yeah, that's what I was looking for. I'm looking forward to learning
Descendo.
descendo. I'm looking forward to learning these kind of terms and kind of getting really into it. And I feel like the hard songs, you're going to be really waving your arms and doing all sorts, and it's going to be chaotic. But I'm all for it. And also like performing in front of the crowd, which would be amazing as well, because the demo is really polished and it really reminds me of those old school VR games that came out at like PlayStation VR 1 kind of time, where the art style is kind of cartoony. It looks really good. It's pretty polished. It feels like an old school VR game in that respect. Of like Blood and Truth, I think, was on the PlayStation VR. It feels something like that in terms of the art style, and so I think the game's going to be really polished. And I think having performing in front of that crowd where the visuals look pretty stunning. That I'm gauging for that. I'm hoping for that too. I think it'd be so much fun, and just look behind you and the crowd's going crazy and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm buzzing for this.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing for this.
This one, it did almost make my list.
I'm hoping that it has a wide variety of songs. They kind of already posted the song list out already, but I'm just hoping that it's not really just classical. Like I know there's going to be some different genres kind of mixed in, but just is it going to be like mostly classical music and such? Not like I have a problem with that. Obviously, I'm a maestro. I'm going to be conducting this and such, but I want to see some wacky stuff out there, some weird remixes and such.
I do think the classical music is out of copyright. It's probably a big thing.
Yeah, that is very true. The rhythm games do depend on their catalog, right? In the end of the day, and it's a reason why Pistol Whip I play the same songs quite constantly, because there are some of the
They got the metal ones though now.
in Pistol Whip. I have not. Yeah, I don't think I've tried them, to be honest. Or maybe I have. I can't remember.
I haven't tried them, but I did. I know they had a trailer of them.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've tried it or not. But like some of the Pistol Whip songs I don't like, so I don't never play them. And same with like in Beat Saber. And obviously there's going to be songs that you do like and songs that you don't like. But I hope this is more of just a personal preference. I just hope that there's going to be a lot of songs that I do like. Smash Drums is a perfect case in point. Smash Drums is a great game, but a lot of the songs on the Smash Drums list is that I don't really vibe with as much. So I don't tend to play it as much as I would if I did. And that's nothing that like the developers can sort out, really. It's just all personal preference, right?
Well,
So yeah.
he could DM you and ask what songs you want.
Yeah, that's true. I'm like, I want this. So yeah, I want a wide variety of songs, and I'm hoping that their song list does really appeal to me. I'm afraid of the lack of support after releasing, or that there is a poor selection of songs for my kind of taste. I'm hoping that the game does well and such. It got so much funding from the demo, and obviously they're bringing it very soon on October 17th. But I'm hoping that they have like a timeline of going, yeah, at Christmas we're going to release this pack of songs. Maybe in March we got this pack of songs to just keep us going, because it's a rhythm game, right? It all depends on the songs as much as anything. Obviously you've got the mechanics is important too, but once you've got those mechanics locked, it's all about the songs, so that will bring longevity. It's why I like Synthriders so much, because there's a lot of songs in there that they've put out, a lot of music packs that are put out which really resonate with me. So yeah, I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of support for this title moving forward. I think
I have 3,400 Synthrider songs.
custom songs on this one might be very difficult because of how many different actions there are.
Yeah, it's pretty intricate.
Yeah, so I'm not expecting custom songs, and that's absolutely fine. But just support. But yeah, that's Maestro. Samson, what's your fifth and final pick of your most anticipated 4 titles?
Batman.
I love how you put this at the end, because mine is Batman too. So you tell me why first.
I did it on purpose.
Fair enough. You tell me why.
Yeah, the Gamescom trailer really sold me. It looks like they took the Arkham games that I watched people play, because I didn't play them yet.
You've got them though.
But it look
downloaded.
Yeah, I do have them. I will play them. I've been meaning to. Hopefully, maybe I'll get the first one done at least before this comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like they nailed Batman in the UI, in how you see enemies pop up and you got to look at them. You can grapple away.
Mm-hmm.
The inspector mode
Detective.
looks pretty cool. Yeah. It just altogether, everything looked friggin' cool, and it looks like I wanted to play it immediately.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Batman Arkham in VR, right? It literally is that, and I say that just because it literally feels. Well, when I say feel, I haven't tried it obviously, but from the gameplay trailer, it looks like it captured the feeling of those original games really well. It's gritty, it's dark. I personally just can't wait to be immersed into that title, to be honest, and we get immersed into that world and such. So what are you most looking forward to? Let's go back and forth on this.
I'm very much looking forward to being in Gotham.
The immersion.
Yeah, and just hearing the sound effects and the noises and the NPCs and all the little things, all those little things that help immerse you in that. I hope there's some rain. I hope there's some glare,
for sure.
cool lighting off the rain,
for sure.
And combat.
Yeah, the combat does look really good.
What are you looking forward to?
Well, what I loved about Assassin's Creed Nexus was to play the character. So just like you, just being immersed, because playing as like Ezio in Assassin's Creed, it felt like I was playing like I did for the flat screen games, and it's obviously a little bit different, but it felt very much like, oh my gosh, I'm literally in this world as the character. And to be the Batman and use the total skill set as the flat screen games excites me a lot. Like it really does, with the, like you said, with the combat, using the grappling hook, using a bunch of those gadgets that you can. It's going to be really fun. I think they're going to nail it. I have so much confidence in this, especially after all the content that they put out. Also, Arkham VR on the PSVR 1 was such a fun tech demo, or 30-minute experience where you go into the Batcave, you put on your bat suit, you look in the mirror, and you're like, oh my, I'm the Batman, and
I'm the Batman,
and it's everything that we love about VR is like everything about VR is because and why we probably choose VR over flat screen games. I mean, of course, we play a lot of flat screen games too, but it's that immersion, it's being that character, it's being in that world, and I think this game is going to be the perfect example, and which is why I think it's going to be bundled with the Quest 3S, to be honest. But that remains to be seen. There's also something else as well. Like when I was watching some of the developer interviews, they mentioned the game's called Assassin's Creed Shadow, right? Arkham Shadow, rather. And they got the shadow in the game, if that makes any sense. So when you're in like environments and such like that, you can see the shadow from you in front of you. So you can see the Batman shadow. And the person said, I can't remember his name. Sorry, my voice is disappearing as I'm saying this. He said that you wanted to, that immersion, you need to be reminded that you're Batman. It's okay looking down and you see like your suit and such, but some of the times you're not looking down, so all you'll see is your arms, and it looks like you got one of those like Hulk arms on that you can buy from the stores and such as kids. But the fact that you can always see the shadow of the Batman with the lighting was such an important part of the game. So you can always feel like you're immersed, and you get lost in it, lost in that world. So I thought that was a really nice touch, really cool touch that you always see the shadow, and that's something that you could do in obviously the flat screen games, but you don't really notice the immersion or such. But now you can see it, and also they showed a clip from Arkham Origins, which is the third title that came out in the series, and they showed how like you can manipulate your shadow in terms of like let's say there's two goons on the ground and you stand in a certain spot where they see the shadow, and then all of a sudden they have no idea where you are, but they feel afraid and they start going crazy a bit. And he hinted in the chat that you were going to have something like that where you could potentially manipulate your shadow to kind of use it as a scare tactic in the game, which sounds really cool. So we'll see if that actually happens, but that was heavily hinted in there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot. What are you hoping that it has?
Well, Dan, my hope will not come true, I assure you. But I hope it has something involving the Batmobile.
Oh,
I hope we can get in it and look around it like in GT7 or something. At the very least, let me see it parked in its spot. Who took my Batmobile out of here? That's what I want to know.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because if you listen to that developer interview, he says Batmobile is not in the game. Like, you cannot control the Batmobile or anything like that. But I think it still will be there.
I don't even. I don't even need to control it, but I do kind of want to get in it.
I think when you go down to your Batcave, it will be there, but you just can't use it. You can't get into it or anything like that. So, I think you're going to be okay after what you just said right at the end there. But yeah, I was worried when you just started that sentence and was like,
Oh, I'd love to be able to race it around, but I know that's not this game.
No. Also, in Arkham Knight, which is the last game in the OG series, that had the Batmobile for the first time, and it's actually the worst part of the game. It's the reason why I actually couldn't finish that game, because the Batmobile parts were so annoying and they were not fun at all. And I didn't finish the game because because they put the Batmobile in, it was something like a big thing. It's heavily pushed in that game, and I just hated every minute when I was in that Batmobile. It was cool for a moment, but then when you had to be forced doing missions that way, it wasn't that good. So yeah.
What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping that it has good side puzzles. A big thing in the Arkham series is the Riddler trophies, which are like challenge trophies that you just find them across like the city. You'll see like a green Riddler question mark, and you got to collect those trophies. But it'll be in a place where it'll be like behind a door or behind a cage, and you're like, how on earth do I get this trophy? And there's a way to kind of go into it, and maybe it's a way that you can figure it out on the spot whilst you're there, or like later in the level you go like left instead of right, and all of a sudden you
explore.
You're at the Riddler trophy, and it's like, oh, I found this trophy. I'm not sure Riddler trophies are in the game, because on the interview it was a question that these will be in there, and he said he didn't say no, but he didn't say yes. He like wanted to keep that under wraps. So I'm not sure if it will be in there, but I hope that there's at least puzzles, at least some side puzzles that are optional. You don't have to do, but maybe the way you traverse and something to try and find them would be cool, because that was always a fun thing to kind of collect those puzzles. There were some of them are really difficult, but I'm just hoping that it does have some side missions rather than it just being solely like just a linear story without any thing that you can do outside of the main missions and such.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
also Samson too, because since you've not played the game, on the game when you have a game over, so when you get killed, one of the characters comes up to the screen where it says game over. So they come up right at you. It's kind of intimidating. So maybe the Joker will come to you. It'll be like a dark screen and it'll appear and he'll just like taunt you and such. Yeah, exactly. Just like how you've done on the camera, just straight to the camera and they'll taunt you or something like, oh no, bats or whatever, blah, blah. And it'll say something and it's kind of funny. Some of them are really scary, like the Scarecrow. When you die in one of Scarecrow's missions, it's pretty scary when he comes on the screen and such after you do a game over. I'm hoping that they do the exact same thing because being in VR, that will be pretty cool if you die in VR and then like the Joker comes at your face. Not like a jump scare, but just like they'll just walk up to you and be like, just laugh that you're dead, basically. So I hope they do the same thing when they have a game over screen. But Samson, what are you most afraid of for this title?
What am I most afraid of? Once again, Dan, I'm kind of nervous this one won't sell well because it's a Quest 3 exclusive. And I am nervous for that reason.
Yeah, kind of like Assassin's Creed. The difference here, though, Samson, from this one and Assassin's Creed is that
Assassin's Creed is on Quest 2, though. There's millions of people have Quest 2s.
It's true, but the difference being with the numbers is that Ubisoft, that was their like first, like, well, it wasn't their first VR title, but it was like the thing, their big major franchise and such. And I think they thought the numbers were going to be better, and unfortunately it didn't. But with Camouflage and obviously Batman, they're seasoned VR pros. They know Iron Man's obviously on there, for example. So I think that probably might be a bit more realistic of what they're hoping for with the numbers.
Hopefully so.
And obviously, if it's bundled with the Quest 3S, then pretty good.
Yeah, I also hope that happens.
Yeah.
But outside that, I don't know what I'm afraid of outside of the
numbers,
the normal things of like, I hope I enjoy it.
I'm a bit afraid of how it will run. I think I think it'll be fine because it's solely on Quest 3 and it's optimized for Quest 3 like that. It's not coming out on Quest 2. It's not coming out on Quest Pro. It's not coming out on any other system. It's all Quest 3. And I think because of the tenure with the Camouflage, as we just spoke about and such, I think they're seasoned pros in VR, and I think this is going to run well and such. That's what I think it will. But I'm afraid, yeah.
I'm going to slip in another hope, but finish you're afraid of.
So the reason why I said afraid of is because in Assassin's Creed, it does have a lot of finicky parts. I had a lot of issues in Assassin's Creed in terms of interacting with various items or opening doors or such like that, where like actually playing with the assassin and such is fine, but like the combat was really bad in terms of like the sword fighting. Like you get by it, which is fine, but you'd much rather try and do it stealthily because the combat's can get a bit annoying and such. So I'm hoping that it's not like that. I don't think so. Like from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing, I don't think it will be like that. I think they're going to nail it because of this has always been solely for this one platform, and they don't have to try and do it for Quest 2. So to try and like fit a lot of things are like Assassin's Creed was, but that's the only thing I'm afraid of. I'm hoping it has a lot of interactability and it's just smooth and it just works as intended rather than what Assassin's Creed did, because Iron Man was absolutely fine for it. So I'm hoping this is going to be the same. What was your other hope that you came up with?
Yeah. My hope is some sort of mixed reality mini game.
Yeah.
Or incorporation somehow.
Yeah. That'll be. I think this being Quest 3, I feel like Meta will try and push for that for sure. Would you like a side game, or would you prefer it to be incorporated into the actual game itself, like Assassin's Creed did?
Nah, I don't care.
No, I think I'd rather have it incorporated into the game with the detective mode or something. Like there might be something that you could have incorporated. I think sometimes a side game might be just like an afterthought, so it wouldn't be that fun to do, if you know what I mean.
I'm okay with an afterthought with like a weird leaderboard or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like not something that you're really meant to spend a lot of time in, but might be kind of fun.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's that.
That's that. Batman Arkham Shadow. That's out in October at some point. Obviously, there'll be a bunch of content creators with previews or at least some videos about their Gamescom experience, because some of them got to play it in there. So definitely stay tuned for all of that stuff. But yeah, that's out in sometime in October. And that's our top 5 anticipated games. Samson, I'm going to do a quick list here before we wrap up part 1. I said the Metal Hellsinger, Another Door, Escape Room, Action Hero, Maestro, and Batman. What was your 5?
Trombone Champ, Mobile Suit Gundam Silver, Phantom, Arcanage, Behemoth, and Batman.
Please let us know in the comments and just on Discord what your top 5, or maybe just like some of your most anticipated games are for the fall. Definitely intrigued. There's a lot of games coming. Like, for example, the Escape Room game. I had no idea that was coming until I researched and looked into it. I was like, oh, this looks actually really fun. So definitely let us know in the comments in YouTube or in Spotify or on our Discord. It'll be fun to see what people are looking forward to. And Samson, with that, we'll wrap up part 1. In part 2, we're going to talk about what Samson's been playing, and go through any games out this week as well. We'll just do a single next part. So we'll see you in part 2.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
Welcome back to part 2. Normally the VR news or what we've been playing or such. But anyway, Samson, this is the Samson.
It is what we've been playing.
That's true. It's the Samson section. Is part 2 today. Samson, what have you been playing in VR this week?
Well, this week I got into Miracle Pool a whole bunch. Finally finished the single player 8-ball and 9-ball. Though I did play with the assist on the entire time. Still got smoked one of the times with the 8-ball. But Dan, I'd never played 9-ball before. I kind of dig it. I kind of really dig it. It's interesting.
It's different.
In that you can... So how it works is you have to hit the balls in numerical order. So first, until the first ball's hit in, you have to hit... You don't necessarily have to hit that one in first, but the cue ball has to make contact with that one first. And then ultimately you win when you hit the 9-ball in. So you can, if the 9-ball is near a hole and you have a shot, let's say at the 1-ball, but you can hit the 1-ball into the 9-ball, into the hole, you'll win without having to hit any other balls in.
I actually didn't know that. So I knew how to play it, but I actually didn't know the fact that you could pot the 9-ball by hitting the 1 first or any of the other numbers that you might be on, and that will win you the game. I didn't know that. Was a fun fact.
I had no idea either until I accidentally did it.
Until I accidentally won the game.
And I was like, why'd that game end? Oh, that was weird. That must have been that.
Yeah, fair enough. Nice.
Also, one time playing 9-ball, I did the snooker balls.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, they're
just red,
2 colors.
Yellow.
They're basically all the same color, which is not ideal for 9-ball because you don't know which one you're gonna have to hit next.
No.
So
that's English. That's English pool, by the way. English pool has
sounds crappy.
English pool doesn't have like the stripes and the spots, I guess you call them. English pool is red or yellow, essentially. So it's just the same game. The pockets are actually smaller. I think in America, and everything is big in America. American pool,
big pockets.
The pockets are way bigger than the English pool. But yeah, the English pool is the same game. It's just red or yellow. But anyway, as you continue,
my stuff looks slick though, Dan. I got a black felt. I have mahogany wood.
Oh.
and I unlocked an umbrella. I didn't really like it though. I use I forget what's on my cue stick, but it's one of the more normal cue sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I use the chrome balls, so they kind of shine.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of nice.
Nice little setup there.
Nice.
It's a $1,000 setup easily.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
Miracle Pool.
Nice.
If you like pool, you'll like Miracle Pool.
It's wicked. The game's wicked. I can't wait to play more soon. But anyway, continue.
I will. So I saw this Upload VR article on this game called Solara One,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked interesting. It was a really long piece, and so I downloaded it. It was framed as a meditation sort of relaxing game, if you will.
It's on Quest.
It is on Quest.
Nice.
It's $9.99 USD.
Nice.
When you boot it up, it kind of feels like you're in Epcot. You're walking through like you're at like a park or something. You're at like a big ride at the park. So you're walking to this like actual big building, and you can walk up to sort of audio logs that are describing things like how gravity might work, a particular planet or the spaceship, and you're walking through, and eventually you get to where it's going to take you to the spaceship, the space station. It's not a ship, and the space station is floating in orbit around Earth. So you can kind of explore in the space station. You can spacewalk, if you will. You can free spacewalk, so you have blasters on your arms and fly around, or you can take guided tours. They ranged, I think, from 3 to 8 minutes, and there was about 6 of them. I did 2 of them. So it kind of just slowly moves you and narrates about what goes on in whichever tour you chose. It was pretty beautiful. Not much else. I don't know that it's really worth $10, but it was kind of cool, and it is something you could put someone new to VR in, I think.
Nice.
So there you have it. Solara.
I kind of want to try that, actually. $10 isn't that bad.
Yeah,
that's really, it sounds interesting.
Not too bad.
Nice.
I think there's more for me to explore. I was mostly outside of space looking at Earth, but I think there might be more backgrounds, if you will, that you can.
Does it have mixed reality at all, or not?
Not that I could tell.
Okay. Nice.
I got into this app called Theme Park, which I've talked about once before. It's basically a theme park ride, and it looks like there are options for other themed rides. The rides are more like It's a Small World, so you're sitting in a car and it's slowly taking you through. The story I went on was the history of sort of the world, I guess. So it went through a lot of different cultures. It very much felt like It's a Small World without the music. This app used to be free, which is when I downloaded it, but now it appears to be it's $10, and I think the dev's going to keep adding in rides.
So it's not like a roller coaster. It's like more, once again, Epcot, where you're just on this little.
Yeah, it's more like a ride.
Yeah, you're sat on, and it just takes you around. Yeah, got it.
Precisely. So if that's what you're kind of looking for, you might want to check out this app called Theme Park.
It sounds very interesting too. I'm adding both games.
It wasn't
now.
Graphically impressive,
right?
But it is a cool experience type of deal thing.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay, fair enough.
And I got it for free. Definitely worth it for free. $10, a little more questionable.
Okay, fair enough.
But there might be more. I'm not sure. I've only done one of them. Dan, Band Space demo. I know we talked about this rhythm game.
Yeah.
I got in it for a little bit before the pod because I was like, oh, we talked about this one. I got to hop in.
Yeah.
Played a couple songs and did the tutorial on all 4 instruments. There's a guitar, there's a bass, keyboard, and drums. I did a song with the keyboard and I did a song with the guitar. the way it works is guitar is sort of the hardest mode, if you will, because you can string back and forth, but you can also hold trigger or grip or trigger and grip. And then there are basically 3 note chords. So you might have to hold just trigger up here, move down and hold grip down here, or both. And then you got to strum together. That's guitar. I assume bass is pretty similar, but probably just doesn't have the grip and trigger button difference. And then keyboard, you're not pushing individual keys. You kind of just have to get your hand in an area of 5 keys, if you will.
Yeah, I see.
And there's a bar across that shows you exactly where, so you don't have to be looking down. You know exactly what keys your hands are over. I kind of enjoyed the keyboarding more than I thought I would. That is not to say that I really enjoyed it, but it was more like I kind of felt like I was just like moving my hands up and down, side to side. I kind of got into it more than with the guitar. I was having to focus a lot more. I might try a couple harder songs with each instrument.
Yeah.
I'm not really feeling it though, and as previously mentioned by you, a rhythm game is made up by its music, and the music options left something to be desired.
Yeah. Did you try the drums at all or not?
Just in the tutorial.
Oh, just in the tutorial. Fair enough.
Yeah, it was. It kind of looks like you had a drum set, and then you have to hit 2 drums at the same time, and that was or hit a drum harder, or just hit the drum normal. Those were the 3 options for the drum.
That's fair enough. So okay. So if the songs were more your liking, do you think this is a game that you'd actually really enjoy?
No.
Okay. No, I did. I would have thought yes.
If I had 3 friends with me to play each in one,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
But Dan, most of the rhythm games I play, either I don't move at all, right? With like kind of Thrasher, you move a little bit, but the other one maybe
Synthriders, you move a lot.
Or this is what I'm going to say. Or I'm doing it to like work out, like Synthriders, Pistol Whip, Beat Saber. There's no real like this is you're moving, but you're not really like I don't really play unplugged much. You know,
it's like Rock Band, right? That's kind of what it's trying to be, like Rock Band
exactly.
in VR. Yeah, that's fair enough. So yeah, it's not your jam. That's fair. I don't,
if that's your jam, yeah, it probably is. It is more like that, right?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you will have custom songs as well when this does come out and such. But
I did see that option.
Yeah, there will be that option that you can also make your own songs. I think we spoke about last week as well. So yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think I'm with you as well. I don't think this is something that I'm going to bother with, to be honest. But anyway, what else you got going on?
Got into HiFi Rush in UEVR. Did about the first hour.
Oh, okay.
Game is pretty fun, Dan. Game is pretty fun. What a cool world. And I love UEVR for the reason that I see all, not necessarily even the secret places, but all the extra places that I can get to in the game to find all the things you got to collect.
How does this
have much easier?
How does it work in VR? Like, does it because it's kind of like more meant to be a fast rhythm paced kind of like rhythm game in a way. Like, does it work really well?
It plays, it works quite well. It plays like a third person, action adventure type of deal.
That's why it's a bit better and such. Yeah.
I realize that I have a tough time getting immersed in my flat gaming, and even if it doesn't add a lot to be in VR, just being in the world that I'm playing the game in,
you're focused and you're immersed in such.
I like it way more. Yeah, it just feels way better to me.
That's fair. And what is the with the UEVR? For those of you who don't know UEVR, it's like can convert some of the VR titles on PC VR. Oh, it's the non-VR titles.
It's the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, the Unreal games into VR itself. Does it play really well in there? Like, is it pretty smooth? And obviously visually, does it look really cool? Because the art style for this game is really fun. It's like
this game's pretty cool. Yeah. It's very, very cool. It felt great. The only thing is that UEVR has a shortcut for pick up the menu where you click in the both sticks, because that's never a thing. But for some reason in a Hi-Fi Rush, clicking in the sticks is how you do your power up.
Oh.
So I just have to change that, and then I'll be golden.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Is this a game that you played on flat screen as well, or
No,
you just
but
played it in VR?
I'd
That's
heard
really
about it.
that's cool that you just played it in VR. That's really cool that you decided just to play it in VR, get immersed, and just see like a third person in VR with the world around you. Essentially, does it have any?
I do find.
Oh, gone.
Okay, I do find that for like cutscenes when they happen in these flat games, I end up like just like looking around at all the broken assets all around, or like I'll see like an item floating,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, why is it just floating there? And then sure enough, the character will come falling, and like he'll hold on to it when it comes into your picture or whatever. It's
you get to see all the stuff that happens in the background of the games.
Yeah, the behind the scenes. Yeah.
Is there any like with your head movement? Does that affect the game at all? Like camera wise?
No, it's just a camera.
Oh, it's just a camera. Okay.
But I mostly use the joystick as my camera to move around.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
it does move the camera sometimes. During that like first boss battle I did, it would sometimes move the camera, but nothing you can just like adjust with the joystick. So and then, it's not too big of a deal.
Do you play with the like a normal controller, or is it the like Quest controller?
Yeah, I play with the Xbox controller.
Got it. I wasn't sure if like you'd play with the touch controllers because I was wondering how the triggers would map, because obviously you have the grip button as one of the triggers. They still have like, I mean, I guess the touch controllers have.
I think it would just be right button and
the grip, because they still have all of the correct buttons on like a normal controller and such.
Just nice. A D-pad.
Nice, that's cool. Like I find it really cool that you could just you didn't even bother playing this on your like PC or on your Steam Deck or anything like that. You just push like, you know what, I'm putting this straight into VR, and that's how I want to play this game.
Of course.
Yeah, I love it. It's a really fun game, like just the actual general. Like this is a rhythm game that you have to, once again, time your hits, but works well. You kind of saying there's much more leeway in this one.
I enjoyed it. I enjoy the hell out of it. I mean, I do have the beat going around the bottom, so I could visually see the beat. Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
Sick. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is a game that's on my list just in flat screen, to be honest, just because of how beautiful it looks. But yeah, amazing. 10 out of 10 on Steam. 10 out of 10. What else you playing?
Got into a little bit of flight sim, mostly just updated it and did a quick flight in New Zealand.
Okay. Just a quick one.
That was about it.
Just a quick.
Yeah, I was meant to play with my buddy Kai, but then he got COVID, so he canceled.
Oh, no.
And so now my game is just updated, and I wanted to make sure it ran, and it runs. So there you have it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, cool. What else you been going?
Friday night, got into a little Breachers 5-on-5 tactical shooter. Good fun. I've been we've been playing a bit more Control Point and Deathmatch too here and there, but I just love messing around with all the different guns in Control Point. When I'm playing the normal mode, which I'm bomb defusal mode, I'm more inclined to meta play the game, use what guns I know are best in any given time.
Yeah.
But in the other game modes, I'm less inclined to do so. I love the hell out of that game, and it is so fun. It's probably in part because I am playing with a group of
makes a big difference.
Nine of 9 dope people, but I have so much fun playing that game.
Yeah, makes me. I mean, you play every single Friday for a reason, right? So yeah, it's great that you've got that for sure. Anything else? You got a big list of games that you've been playing this week.
I do. There's a couple more. Synthriders, as previously mentioned, got in with Pro Stud and his crew. They're all really good. Apparently, they also play in the evenings. So if anybody's interested, come on down to the Discord, ping Pro Stud. There's some high octane synthing, and it is a good time.
Yeah.
We played for like 90 minutes, I think, last Wednesday.
Nice. Nice.
It's
a lot of calories burnt.
Yeah, it was like 500 or something like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So as previously mentioned, Dan, the weather is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into some Tea for God in a huge, set it up like, I must have had 15 by 15 at least. And I just was running all around in my driveway.
Yeah, with the room scale.
And yeah, exactly. And I ran through a whole run again on like whatever the easier mode is.
Yeah.
Somebody actually honked as they drove by, and I don't know if it was somebody I know or if they were just like, dude's in VR. But I don't know because there's no obviously mixed reality in this. But T for God, if you got the space for it, you're just like, why? And I put so much trust in it because I know I mapped everything out exactly, and I have so much space.
Yeah.
So I'm just fully like running through the halls there.
Yeah, and how like what is Tifa God? Just for those of you who don't know the game, like what do you do?
It's a roguelike going. You're a robot. You're going through a procedurally generated sort of area or maze, killing robots that are trying to kill you along the way. The way I play, you kind of know where to go because there are lights along all the way, but you can play a mode where you don't. It doesn't give you that guidance, and so it ends up being a lot more exploration as well.
There's nothing to do with tea. Like you're not delivering tea. You're not drinking tea.
No, it's not British. Dude.
That's where my mind went. Anyway, that's where my mind went. But yeah, nice. Is it a game that you only can really play with a big play space, or does it adapt?
I mean, there is the option.
Yeah,
there's the option to do joystick movement, so you could, in theory, play this game seated.
Oh.
I think it loses a lot of its pizzazz, if you will.
Yeah,
this game is meant to be played with
room scale.
If you have at least like, you don't need an obscene amount of space, but you do want like at least a 6x6 or something like this, so you can sort of maze around yourself.
Yeah, fair enough.
All that jazz.
Yeah, fair enough.
And last, Dan, but certainly not least, I finally, for the first time ever, played Space Pirate Arena.
Oh, and you played it room scale as well? Like, obviously...
Yeah, this was not easy to set up. So I tried to set it up in my driveway, but my driveway is at a very, like, slight incline. Yeah. So one end is probably a foot, like, if I'm doing 10 meters, probably a foot lower. And it wouldn't let me make my boundary as big as I needed it to get. So I drove to a deserted parking lot, and the way I had to do this was I had to just start making a boundary, and eventually when I start making the boundary in one direction, it starts to become a straight line and it won't go any further. So then I just start walking along that, making sure it's all the way to the end until I get to a corner, and then I did that. And then I did that around the whole play space.
Wow.
The issue is that for some reason that's just like my room scale or whatever, but I couldn't. Sometimes my actual boundary was like inside of that, so I had to redo it once because in one whole corner of the arena was like out of my boundary, and it would just go to pass through.
Yeah.
But eventually I did get it set up, and I did have the room. And when you play alone, it just sets up floating bots around the arena. But it kind of felt weird. At first I was like moving really slow. And I just kept dying. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta like actually move around this arena. And so you're just dodging it. It's very cool. It's very cool. It felt surreal to be playing in such a big space, being able to just run around.
For sure. And is this
I really need a friend.
Is this a mixed reality or not? No, it's not. So you gotta really like trust your boundary too. Of that you
I was in a very big deserted parking lot, so I knew I wasn't going to hit a wall.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh yeah, you definitely I feel like that game would be so much fun to play if you had someone else. And well, like look, if I come to your area in the next year, now that I'll be on the East Coast, we'll play that for sure. We'll do just that.
Yeah,
it'll be so much fun.
It honestly playing, I was like, I need to buy a Quest 3S.
Yeah, you need that second quest ready to go for someone to come down and you can play with a Space Pirate Trainer Arena. And it's not Trainer Arena, it's just Arena, isn't it? Because Trainer's the one that you
Well,
can just play at home.
yeah, it's all one game now or whatever, but I don't.
I see.
I think it is called Space Pirate Trainer DX or something. Is
the other one? Yeah.
It's like what the game's called, and I did the arena mode.
Yeah. Very well. Samson, that was a lot of games. That was a hell of a lot of games. So
10 of them.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna end this part, and in part 3, we're gonna talk about the Walkabout Standings and the games out this week. Since that was a very long part, so we will see you in part 3.
Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show.
All right, welcome back to part 3, games out this week, and we'll talk about the Walkabout Standings. Samson, I'm going to talk about the game out this week since you talked a lot. I mean, only you talked in part 2. We only have one game out this week, and it's actually a kind of a fun game. So we've got Fract. Fract is out this week. Let's read out the description here. Before End Dreams' critically acclaimed Synapse, which was on PSVR 2, FYI, and the frantic chaos of Frenzies, which is coming out on Quest later this year, there was Fract, the original trailblazing VR action-adventure that seamlessly collides relentless run-and-cover gunfights with free and fluid skiing and climbing. Uncompromising, audacious, and unashamedly stylish, Fract grabs the VR by the touch controllers to deliver a truly ass-kicking virtual reality experience. Stranded in a remote mountain facility, you play the reluctant hero forced into a final strand between the planet and the legion of interdimensional enemies. Take aim and run head first into explosive action as you shoot, ski, and climb your way across extreme adventure. Alone on the edge and really fracked off. Humanity's survival is in your hands.
What the frack?
What the frack? That is, I'm just going to point out here, that is the way to write down a description. You know, that was a fun description to read. Fract is out this week. It's on Thursday, obviously the time that you're listening to this podcast. We spoke about it at length last week. For those of you who don't know, this came out on PSVR 1 first, and then I think a little bit later on, it came out on Steam. Samson, you obviously tried it in Steam. We talked about that last week, and it gave you some motion sickness. So I'm curious when this comes out, if it's going to do the same on the Quest, or they've improved the motion sickness aspect of it. I don't think I'm going to pick this up right now, right at the way, just because I'm just very busy over the next couple of weeks and so. But I'm curious to see what the reviews are. And if the reviews are good, I think I'll definitely be picking this up.
It is a quick one, so I hear.
Yeah. Are you going to potentially pick this one up even though you didn't love it?
No, I don't think so.
You still have it on Steam. I also I
returned it actually.
Yeah, you did return it actually. Yeah, you don't have it anymore. I did pick up Dungeons of Eternity because they were 50% off, and it has the arachnophobia mode. So I have picked that up. I just haven't had time to play it yet, so I will get to it at some point. Samson, let's round off the show here with the Walkabout Standings for Season 5.
Yes, so week 3 ended.
Yeah.
And we played Sweetopia Easy and Bogey's Bonanza Hard. And in the easy mode, the top 3 were Cobalt Dave at -12, Parody for Life at -14, and Rockin' Horse Brat at -16. 222. And up on 2s. I was just behind Dave at -11.
Nice. Well played.
So big congrats there. Rockin' Horse Brat and Parody. Always so tight up there.
Always so matched. And I remember last week, I think it was just 1-1-1. Like, there was such a close top 3 as well. So only a couple shots in that leaderboard. So amazing. Fantastic. Did you have the time
hard mode
for Sweetopia as well?
Yeah, I'll do the time. We'll do the races after
Okay.
we do the hard mode,
Okay.
where there was quite a discrepancy. This is really a top 2 and then everybody else. But I'll do a top 4 here because congrats to Kimi Kai, who came into 4th with 1. Liana came in 3rd with 0. And then in 2nd place with -16
Oh my gosh.
was Rock and Horse Brett.
Oh my gosh.
And in 1st place was Parody for Life with -17.
Wow.
So you had a 16 and 17 point difference between
How do you
third
score
place.
-16 or -17 on Bogey Bonanza hard?
It's Bonanza as a Bonanza.
How? Oh my! I need to hop in with them.
It's a birdie Bonanza. It's bogey. It's birdie's
That's
Bonanza.
birdieing every single hole bar 2 or 1. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous, especially on like the 18th hole and such. That incredible. Like everyone scores from like 0, 1, and all that stuff. That's pretty good for a hard course and such. And then I
4 of us or 3 of us got 4.
I was expecting you to say like -5 or -6, like a good 6 shots in it or something. 16 and 17 shots, that's ridiculous. My gosh.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Just wait though, because now we're getting into the races.
Okay.
The races on easy mode, which was Sweetopia, top 3 and 3rd, Healing Entree at 5 minutes and 42 seconds and 50 hundredths of a second. I'm going to leave that out going forward. In 2nd place was myself with 4 minutes and 52 seconds.
Nice.
And in 1st place, a whopping 22 seconds before me, was Parody for Life at 4.5 minutes, Dan. 4.5 minutes.
To finish Sweetopia.
Less time. I don't know. Insert 5-minute thing that takes you. This was less than that for Parody. Crazy.
That's mental.
Hard mode. Moving right along. 3rd place, yours truly, with 8 minutes.
Bogey's Bonanza hard mode, just FYI.
Yeah, Bogey's Bonanza. Yes. Thank you for that. I honestly, there were a couple holes that really tripped me up too. I didn't feel great about that one. Rock and Horse Pratt, 7 minutes and 56 seconds. Just eking me out there. And then, this was like, she would have been waiting days for us. Parody for Life at 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
Oh my gosh, almost a whole
Bogey's
minute.
Bonanza Heart.
That's
almost a minute and a half.
A minute and a half? Oh my gosh. That's... Well, I don't know what like steroids, Parody for Life, and Rock and Horseback take when they do their walkabout courses, but they're definitely performance-enhancing drugs. I tell you now, we need to get a drug test in this competition.
But thank you everybody for participating. We had 10. We've had 10 consistently now all season. But come on down, and even if you just play 1 week, you'll be entered into a random Quest cash giveaway.
I'll be joining soon.
Yeah, we got a couple new faces this season: Healing Entree and Red Rotor, and I think Gilman might be back. We'll see.
And maybe I'll be back. Who's to say?
Yeah, I don't believe it. But that is it. And next week's courses, if you'd like to take part, you can either DM me on Discord or send them to me in Meta, however you see fit, is Journey to the Center of the Earth easy and Coyote Valley hard. And Dan, what I'm trying to do this season is use one course that we've done before and one course that we haven't done before.
Coyote Valley hard, in terms of the speed run, is going to be really interesting because of the wind, and trying to get through those fast is going to be hard because they require some precision when it comes.
Even
to
Journey, I feel like you're hitting the ball and just waiting a bunch.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Click on all those rocks.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking like there's a one hole in Coyote Valley. Is it hole 10, 11, 12, 13, hole 13, where like in hard you have to get it perfect for you to get it in.
It's in the wind?
In the wind, yeah, that's just solely in the wind. that's going to trip up a lot of people. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think I'm going to be able to jump into it this week with it being moving week, but maybe I'll make a sneaky appearance.
Get in now.
I won't count on it. Amazing. Thanks for everyone showing up. Obviously for the Walkabout tournament. We're on season 5 now, which is really crazy. That's our show. It's been a long show.
Already week 3 too.
Already week 3. But yeah, that's our show. It's been a long show. I guess that's 2 long shows in a row. But remember, next week, most likely we will not have a podcast out. I'm just in the midst of moving across the country at the moment. But you never know, there might be some surprise.
Maybe I'll ramble about what I've been playing.
Maybe it sounds ramble because that's a good 40-minute section anyway. But potentially. But I would not count on it. So for your commutes and all that stuff, apologize for the next week's episode. But yeah, thanks so much for everyone for watching. Obviously, join the Discord and such if you haven't already. Samson, round us out. What inspirational quote do you have for us today?
You will conquer obstacles to achieve success.
I love it. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. We will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye now.